2018 was a good year for Nigeria as the non-oil export sector made significant impact on Nigeria's economic growth. The maiden edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF, took place in Cairo, Egypt from 11th to 17th December 2018, with Nigeria coming out as major gainers amongst Africa. The IATF is a platform for Africa to trade, invest, share market information, enable buyers, sellers, investors, and for African countries to meet, discuss, and conclude business deals. Intra-African Trade Fair provides an opportunity for exhibitors to showcase their goods and services, engage in business-to-business exchanges, and conclude business deals. The Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF 2018, is promoted by African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank, in collaboration with the African Union and was hosted by Egypt. One of the highlights of the Intra-African Trade Fair 2018 was the signing of a $1 billion facility MOU for Nigeria-Africa Trade and Investment Promotion Program, NATIP, by Afrexim, Nigeria Export Promotion Council, NEPC, and Nigeria Export-Import Bank, NEXIM.
You're witnessing a memorandum of understanding that will reinforce the working relationship between the two institutions, as well as provide a framework for executing various initiatives planned by the two parties. It's a marriage. Gentlemen, if you could exchange documents. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Present at the Intra-African Trade Fair 2018 were Nigerian exhibitors, captains of industry, the creative arts industry, and participants. Nigeria's participation was coordinated by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, the Bank of Industry, BOI, Nigerian Export-Import Bank, NEXIM, Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations, NOTN, National Transmission and Dispatch Company, NTDC, in collaboration with the private sector. The Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC, Segun Awolowo, led Nigeria's participation by sponsoring over 50 MSMEs to the Intra-African Trade Fair 2018. This is part of NEPC's mandate to promote the development and diversification of Nigeria's non-oil export base and create an export path for small and medium enterprises, among other benefits. Nigeria's Country Day at the Intra-African Trade Fair 2018 brought attention to Nigeria with the presence of His Excellency Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who was welcomed by the Nigerian Pavilion by Segun Awolowo, CEO, NEPC. Awolowo was accompanied by MDs of Afrexim Bank, Bank of Industry, NEXIM, and Fidelity, governors of Jigawa and Abia states, captains of industries, and eminent Nigerians to welcome Osinbajo. His Excellency Professor Osinbajo, while addressing IATF 2018 delegates and participants, said Nigeria places a high premium on the economic integration of African continent, as seen with her delegation to Cairo, Egypt, which represents Nigeria's diversity. He commended the nation's digital economy as one of the fastest growing in Africa and applauded Nigeria's growing creative arts industry as a major contributor to the nation's GDP.
I think we will arrive at a very successful establishment of the African Common Market because it is good for African trade. For example, the interstate trade in Africa is 10%, while 90% is done in other countries outside Africa. All over the world, the unique touches of Nigerian fashion are redefining the industry. The Nigerian fashion industry features internationally recognized labels and is a sure takeaway by many who visit Nigeria. The phenomenal sellout of our Nigerian football jersey, designed by Nike, is good evidence of the global acceptance and the delight in Nigerian fashion.
The managing director of Bank of Industry, Olukayode Pitan, stated that the Intra-African Trade Fair 2018 is in line with BOI's goal for transforming the industrial sector, and participating in AITF 2018 will help exhibitors to network.
For us, the idea is to bring some of the Nigerian companies, both the small and medium-sized ones, to see that there's a bigger market even outside Nigeria. If your goods, are well packaged, there's a market out there. We sponsored about 50 companies to come here. Different sponsorship. The bigger they are, we reduce the amount of sponsorship. And already, some of them are already getting orders. Like Tetmusol, people have come. People have been in and out of their stand. We expect, as soon as the other people set up here also, that Nigerian companies are going to go back with some orders. So one is for them to come here and see how things are done, how others are packaging their goods, is to see what they can do here, is to link up with other manufacturers, buyers of their goods, or even suppliers of the equipment that they have, to know that just next door to Nigeria, they might have opportunities rather than go to Europe. So we are promoting Nigeria, we are promoting Africa. We worked with the African Export-Import Bank to raise the first paper, a facility that we got this year for $750 million. Next year, we intend to do another one, maybe for $1 billion, maybe for a longer tenure. But the market response to our offer has been very good. The Nigerian manufacturers need long-term money at reasonable price, so we are doing sub-10. We intend to continue doing that. There's a larger demand now for BOI facilities, so we're going to do our part.
Ababello, MD Nexim Bank, said Nigeria's salvation is through its economic diversification, and coming to IATF in Cairo, Egypt, is a platform to push Nigerian products into African markets and connect Nigerian businesses to African export markets.
We keep hearing that the infrastructure gaps that inhibits trade along and within Africa. One of the biggest problems we have, or the gaps we have, is in logistics, specifically transport logistics. To get goods from point A to point B within Africa is a nightmare, simply because we do not have the right infrastructure. Road infrastructure is not very good, and so on. Now, most of global shipping is done, global trade is done by ship. Incidentally, I'll give you an example of West Africa. Out of the 16 countries, I think, in West Africa, 13 are coastal countries, all with ports, but there is no sea link, shipping link between Port A in Lagos and Dakar, nowhere in between. So if you want to ship from Lagos to Dakar today, you have to do transshipment in Europe. So you have to ship to Rotterdam and bring it back to Senegal. And it inhibits trade within West Africa. So we have come up with this initiative to promote a shipping link between Central Africa and West Africa that will stop on each port of the Lagos. And it's a project that has been going on for quite a while, and we're thinking that before the end of this quarter, next quarter, we will already do our first shipment. Already we have 12 vessels that have been committed to it. We've already found cargo for it. Dangote has bought into it. Manufacturers Export Group has bought into it. And we're quite certain that once this thing kicks off, it's going to ensure that the figures, the needle for intra-Africa trade contribution to total trade will go up a notch towards the 20%, 22% that is being targeted by IATF.
Nigeria's creative arts was represented by D'banj, Two-Face, Waje, Omaomi, and Rita Dominic, who performed and spoke about the value of the creative economy and using it as a tool to transform Africa. Nigeria's past president, His Excellency Chief Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo, chairman of the IATF 2018 Advisory Council, encouraged Africans to believe in Africa and in what Africans can achieve. Obasanjo said there will be challenges, but while standing at a crossroad, we have identified the right road in order to grow African economies, actualize potential, and fulfill our destiny. We must work together so that we can swim together in progress, prosperity, and security. There is no pride in poverty, only strength, respect, and pride in economic power and development.
It is a 7-day trade show and is the first of its kind in Africa. It has been designed to drive intra-African trade and to support the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, a landmark agreement in the context of economic integration, transformation, and progress in Africa, enabling buyers and sellers, investors, producers, and countries to meet, to discuss, and to conclude business arrangements and deals. This trade fair gives opportunities for exhibitors to showcase their goods and services and share with others trend and market information.
Dr. Benedict Orama, Afreximbank president, said the success of IATF 2018 exceeded expectations, with over 40 countries, pavilions, and trade deals exceeding $30 billion. Speakers, participants, exhibitors, partners, and sponsors came to a consensus that the 2018 Intra-African Trade Fair was a success that surpassed all expectations, a dynamic opportunity promoting growth of intra-Africa trade. Nigeria emerged one of the early gainers of the maiden Intra-African Trade Fair, IATF, in Cairo, Egypt.
Today, Africa makes history, and I'm sure you agree with me. When you go and visit the exhibition stands today, we converge in Egypt, the land of the pharaohs, the cradle of civilization, to usher in a new era for Africa. We do so united by common purpose, driven by a common desire, propelled by a commitment to use the force of history to change the course of history. We gather here as brothers, sisters, and friends to say a resounding never again to the divisions imposed on us by history and which have dug us deep into misery. While others in other continents look across their borders to seek friends and partners, we look into the horizon to find ours. But this week, here in Cairo, thanks to the benevolence of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi we look inwards with pride. We look across our borders to embrace our common heritage.
The Segun Awolowo-led Nigerian Export Promotion Council (NEPC) was highly commended for Nigeria's active participation at IATF 2018, for Nigeria's quality exhibitors, and the opportunity for the nation's exporting companies to promote made-in-Nigeria products and services.
I think we have about 140 Nigerian companies there, and I think we are the biggest by far in the trade fair. Even Egypt, host country, could not match us because we spread into 3 halls. Yeah, but what that says is that really Nigeria, of course, the biggest economy in Africa, and with so much more to offer. And we must continue to embark on this kind of trade missions, trade promotions, in order to promote our businesses, particularly the SMEs that have no international partners outside there. The big companies are well connected, so they really don't need anything. Apart from the companies that are clustered with us, clustered with Bank of Industry, you have independent companies, all from Nigeria, all around the exhibition hall. So that is just amazing what it's happening. So we just must continue, showing them what the competition is, what they are also bringing to the forefront, what they want to come and sell in our country. They're able to see that, and then they see, okay, this is what you can buy, and maybe I have to go back and improve, on my quality, on my standard. Maybe the measurement I'm bringing out is a bit too big for this market. These are some of the things you get to see.
In 2019 and years to come, we must continue to invest heavily in the non-oil sector. The government must be premeditated in building and strengthening a steady drive for a zero-oil economy, for Nigeria to be economically sustained and stable. We should do more on partnership with foreign investors, trade promotions, buyer-seller missions, infrastructural investments, improve agricultural produce, including mechanizations, storage to improve and increase Nigeria's capacity to produce sufficiently for local consumptions, for exports, and ultimately increase Nigeria's economic growth. Women Radio 91.7 noted a large number of female exhibitors at IATF 2018 and attributed this to the entrepreneurship zeal of African women for a sustainable and progressive Africa. The second edition of the IATF will be hosted by Rwanda in 2020.